They should stop criminalization on HIV people.
Asibe basoose era olumbe tusobole okulugonzagonza mukumira eddagala.
People suffer different layers of discrimination, and it's our role to be able to address it.
Gulu district, located in northern Uganda, is a hub of activity. In the center of the town is this High Court. In this courtroom is this 12-year-old child. Being a minor, we shall refer to him as Patrick. Patrick is living with the HIV virus. He is charged with aggravated defilement of a 2-year-old baby, and today is Judgment Day.
You knew your condition, but nevertheless you committed an act that is likely to transmit that infection to a child younger than you, only 2 years. I therefore find that it is an offense which deserves the maximum of 3 years.
It is a moment of grief for Patrick. The Honorable Justice has found him guilty and adjudged as a juvenile offender. Patrick will be released on probation. He is bound to be of good behavior for 6 months. He will remain in custody of his biological father, and he is not to return to his mother's home until the victim is 18 years old.
You will not go back to the home of your mother.
For Patrick, this is a moment he cannot hold on to strongly. He can barely say goodbye to his mother.
He has lived with the mother for so long. So that mother's love is still remaining on his head. It will affect. I know, if not anything, he may even sneak and reach home there.
As a father, he believes society needs to accept people living with HIV/AIDS and give them the necessary support.
That one is stigmatization, very bad. They should look equally, the same like those who doesn't have, because you may not know it is not you who has requested for that disease to come to you.
Patrick's story is just a few of the many who are being criminalized for their positive living with the HIV virus. He is at this new home in Kitgum district, which is several kilometers away from his mother. The pain and loneliness is clearly visible. HIV criminalization is a pervasive illustration of stigma and discrimination against this marginalized group of people. In October this year, the media was awash with a similar case. In the suburbs of Nabweru, Wakiso district, 23-year-old Sharon Muhindo was arrested for allegedly breastfeeding a baby with intentions of spreading a dangerous disease.
Ensonga eno bagitunulemu.
Sharon is living with HIV and has been happily married to her husband Daniel. They do not have a child yet. For 3 months, Sharon has been remanded to Luzira prison.
Discovering that she was HIV positive is the reason she was taken to jail, because they thought she had breastfed their children since she spent more time with them, and others said she cut herself and smeared them with her infected blood, and that's the reason why she was taken to jail.
Their marital vows, for better or for worse, is what drives Daniel. He wakes up every day in the company of UGANET to seek for Sharon's freedom.
I'm so worried for my life and for my wife. who is in prison. We would have encouraged each other to take medication, but the fact that she's far away from me is quite difficult for me.
UGANET envisions a Uganda free of human rights abusers in the context of health and HIV, and they have come in handy to support Sharon and Daniel. Sharon has been granted bail but still believes she is being persecuted because of being HIV positive.
When my results were released, I was found to be HIV positive, and I accepted it because it was the first time I was learning about it. But I have never breastfed any child because I have never given birth.
Criminalization of people living with HIV is on the rise, a trend that is worrying the different parties fighting for human rights.
The presumption of innocence is no more. As the moment the community gets to know that you're a person living with HIV, at that point you're a murderer, you're a killer, you're a person with no mercy.
And our work every day is to ensure that we challenge HIV discrimination, HIV criminalization, and all forms of vulnerability that affects people differently.
UGANET, under one of its pillars, promoting legal aid and community justice, have addressed Sylvia Komanji's sad tale. Sylvia was arrested in Gulu as when she had gone for a picnic. She was convicted and jailed in Kitgum prison.
Eunice Lakot came here and reported that the two ladies who slept in her home are suspected to have pricked her child with HIV blood. And she took her child to her family doctor, who advised her to give the child PEP. And were arrested there and then.
Sylvia now regrets having gone to Gulu. She believes this was a setup and she is being criminalized.
Your case is a serious one. We cannot give you a bail. Those were the reasons they gave me. I took life easy. I was returned to prison, but I could not give up. Whenever I would appear in court, I would still apply for bail. And they kept on giving me those two reasons.
Sylvia, when arrested, went through blood tests and was found positive. The child tested negative. She believes this could not have been her fate if she hadn't been HIV positive.
I spent 7 good months in Kitgum prison because I was suspected to have HIV.
UGANET appealed her sentence at Gulu High Court and Sylvia was found innocent.
Every day and night she spent in the cell and justifiably was confining more people living with HIV in fear, to shame and uncertainty of living.
She was only being persecuted for being HIV positive. A moment of relief for Sylvia.
That moment, it was a joyous one. Actually, I fainted. The joy was too much. Those who were in court witnessed it. I woke up, I stood up and shouted. I said, Jesus, thank you. And the power of God moved me down. And I was picked by the prison wardress who took me down to have my freedom.
People suffer because of the HIV positive status, not because they are negligent or they are reckless, but because the people working around their circumstances were not able to vigorously check what is beneath the charge that has been reported. So because of this, Sylvia suffered 9 months in prison, yet she wouldn't have.
Criminal law appears to be disproportionately applied, and there is a need for action against all forms of criminalization and stigmatization of people living with HIV.
The laws are in place, but they need to get better implemented. Some policies are not yet in place, but mostly the practices. Some are subtle practices, direct discrimination, but the majority areas where discrimination thrives are areas where it is not directly implemented. It's not clear, it's not direct. Probably it won't be in the policy, but it will be the way attitudes are displayed and demonstrated in the workplaces, in households, in communities, and in health facilities.
As UGANET continues promoting legal and community justice, there is need for action in the ending of these human rights violations.